Alright, that we are good to go. Well, let's just instantly get into a game. We're doing the usual. Izzet Pheonix in Explorer. Alright, let's see what we have here. Alright, if opponent is a creature deck, this is pretty good. If they're not a creature deck, it's fine. Alright, Rakdos, Duress. Main deck Duress is weird. You don't normally see that. Take Artist Talent, of course. Well, I'll lead on a tap land. Alright, so the good news is they seem to be playing land go. Which, you know, you really do like it when your opponent does nothing for the first couple of turns of the game. They can cantrip, find some stuff. We got Treasure Cruise, for example. So I could wait and Treasure Cruise next turn. However, they have already shown me Duress. I do not want to lose my Treasure Cruise. So I'm going to free the Fae immediately. Grab and opt. And Treasure Cruise. 5, 6, 7. Just get the draw 3. And discard Pheonix to hand size. That's wonderful. And that'll be coming back this turn, probably. So let's lead on and opt. Second opt, we do need to find a third spell at some point. It's not super urgent. That's 2 or more other lands. Well, I'm just going to route Picklock Prankster. Just have a guy in play. Can never hurt. Alright, they have Fable the Mirror Breaker. That's fine. That's a target for a Floodmaw. And an Urborg. Okay, well, I'm going to play a tap land. And a Pheonix, I guess. I don't want to be overpaying for a Treasure Cruise. Not when I would be discarding cards to hand size off of it anyway. So hopefully this discard 2 will give me some idea. So they've discarded 2 lands, which means they're probably just flooded, which is why they haven't been doing much of anything. Yeah, discard 2 lands, play a land for turn. They certainly have enough mana. I'm going to just not take 2. They're just attacking to get a treasure. Alright. They Ritual Chamber. Get a 6/6. That is completely fine by me. I can just Floodmaw that. Picklock Prankster is great. Would love to fill up my graveyard even more. I'll take Spell Pierce. I don't expect it to be very good. And then I will Treasure Cruise. Because I pretty much just want to fire these off. Alright. Another Pheonix means I want to use this Lightning Axe. Just purely to additional cost discard a card. And there's serious trouble if they don't have like Deadly Cover Up or something. Alright, they can push one of the Phoenixes, but that doesn't matter. Well, we have... Yeah, okay, they're done. That makes sense. I can even, like, fire up all the Storm Giants. So they're the Rakdos mid-range deck, but they just had a bad start, I guess. So let's bring in some cards against that. Second Annul is pretty good. Spell Pierce is always like a little unreliable. A lot of the time they can pay for stuff. And Sleight of Hand is a sorcery speed cantrip, so I'm not too excited about it. Not going to sideboard too much. The main deck is pretty well set up for this matchup. You know, the only thing the main deck is missing really is the anti-graveyard hate stuff. Aside from that, keep it a little bit light. Alright, we are waiting. Alright, this hand is great. They have discard spells, so you don't want to mulligan like any semi-keepable hand. Yep. So Duress is going to take Artist Talent, obviously. I'm going to play a tap land so I can Third Path or Picklock Prankster on turn 2. I think it'll be Picklock Prankster. I want the Third Path to immediately come with a spell, so I get some value out of it. Okay, well, we're going to let that resolve and discard Torch and Opt. And they can discard my graveyard. That doesn't do much. I'm just going to immediately refill it. Alright. What on earth? Literally 4 Phoenixes in 5 cards. That's crazy. Well, I hope they don't have more graveyard hate, because if they do, I'm in trouble. I can't get my Phoenixes back immediately. Alright, they don't have second go blank. That's nice. Now, I unfortunately have a tap land. And I want to save that to try to bring back Phoenixes next turn. So I think I will just play my 1/3. They're just going to activate Castle Lochthwain. That's probably great for me. 5 life to draw a card when I can put on some pretty meaningful pressure. It's a lot. Alright, I'm going to run out the Iconoclast and Spire Bluff Canal and just attack with my Prankster. And pass the turn with the intent to free the Fae if they try to kill that. Yep, they do. So I'll get a 1/1 out of it. And a Treasure Cruise. That's pretty... It would be a lot cooler if I didn't have 3 Phoenixes in the yard at the moment. Probably going to have to overpay for that. Yikes. Alright, so that's basically what I was worried about. I wasn't able to get the Phoenixes out of the yard fast enough, and they just sort of sat in there until they got graveyard hated. I have this Phoenix in play, in my hand. Prophetic Memory has not triggered ever. But even after all that, I mean, my opponent is going to 4, which which is not a comfy life total to be at. They're gonna need it. They're gonna need something pretty good. Extinction Event is pretty good. There goes all my even stuff. That's 6 mana to fire up, so I need 2 more lands. Alright, well, I will grab Consider, and I will consider. I don't like all of my good anti-graveyard hate cards getting milled, but I at least have a larger than average Picklock Prankster. So they're going to have to answer that, and then I have another one. Invoke Despair gets rid of my enchantment as well. This is kind of silly. Like they're just dunking on me left, right, and center. Alright. Alright, they go to 2. That's not a lot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to play a Treasure Cruise. And if I can find a way of denying them a demon, then I just straight up win. Alright, so if they just go to unlock Ritual Chamber and I flood maw it, and that's their only plan, yeah, that's their land, is not a Mutavault. I think I might win this. And I think them playing this Unholy Annex is a huge mistake. Like, they would have had so many turns. A second Unholy Annex on the Annex side. Well, I'm gonna emote on them. And easy game. Yep. It's super dicey to play that card. Like, Unholy Annex is very powerful, but you gotta think. Yeah, you gotta use some brain cells before you put it in play when you're at 4. And especially if you don't have a Mutavault. Like, if you have 2 Mutavaults on the board, then it's probably fine, but like, you can't just run it out at low life totals and think you'll be fine, you know? Alright, this hand is solely going to be on the back of Artist's Talent, if it works. Opponent is red-white, so probably hyper aggro. Yeah, they're gonna be Boros Burn. Alright, hit 2 lands off the light up the stage. That's pretty good. I think I need to do this now to try to hit a land drop, which I don't. I'm going to take a removal spell, because I might be able to remove something. Yeah, there's Boros Charm, and a Bolt Wave. I do hit a land. And I guess I'll run out second Artist's Talent. Discard second Pheonix. So hopefully Spell Pierce can stop a Boros Charm or something impactful. And then we can sort of be in this. Although they would need to cast another spell first now. Yep. Take 4. I can at least stop this. Game 3. Put another Pheonix in the bin. Geez, the Phoenixes have been in position this game, I'll tell you that. Let's try to get them back so we can turn the corner real quick. Yeah, Floodmouth's probably the worst. Opt is good. That's a second cantrip. Steam Vents, I do not want to be taking damage. Lightning Axe can go, I guess. Alright, well, I was going to Sleight of Hand. Now I'm obviously going to Treasure Cruise. 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I have Fiery Impulse up. If they happen to play a creature, I can Fiery Impulse it. Or Fiery Impulse it, or Fiery Impulse it, I guess. Those are my 3 options. But if my opponent isn't going to play out a creature, which very well might not be any in the deck if this is pure burn, then I'm in trouble. Lightning Helix is pretty good for them. Alright, let's cast some cantrips. Try to find like a Prophytic Memory would be cool. Spell Pierce maybe does something, so we'll keep it. Alright, I definitely don't need 3 Fiery Impulses. 2 should, in theory, be enough. I'm really just looking for a Prophytic Memory or something similar. Alright. I don't think... One more consider probably safe. Can get rid of a Torch the Tower. And a Consider. Alright. Well, we didn't find the Prophytic Memory, so we don't get to win this turn. We're going to have to rely on Fiery Impulse Spell Pierce to win. And it looks like it's going to work. They're going to fire up the den. We kill it. Alright. We managed to steal game 1 against Burn. Anger the Gods, like... Did they play any actual creatures? Literally just Den of the Bugbear? Alright. I think... Negate... Mystic Dispute as 3 mana... Mystic Dispute in its 3 mana mode is probably better than some other things. Third Path can make the clock faster. They probably have like Kakazan. Floodmaw is probably bad. They didn't really play any permanents. And what else do we cut? Probably just 3 Sleight of Hand. Probably cut 3 Sleight of Hand. There's Sorcery Speed cantrips. We're just going to have to naturally find what we need. Oh, I don't like this, but we'll see. We are up a game. It has Lightning Axe for creature. I'm going to play a tap land on 1. Because if I don't need to use my mana this turn, it's hugely valuable to get that out of the way and not give them a shock for free. And I don't have like a Spell Pierce or anything that is super likely to be relevant against them. Alright. So they play Rest in Peace. I think, despite how it looks, I think that is actively great for me because they have spent 2 mana and a card on turn 2 to deal 0 damage. And like, I can just hardcast my Pheonixes eventually. Alright, they do have Kamano. And of course they have Boros Charm. I'm going to continue playing tap lands. And this turn I'm going to get to opt potentially twice to look for something. Right. They play a tap land of their own. And tear to destroy target enchantment. Alright, Treasure Cruise is impossible with Rest in Peace. We can get rid of that. Spell Pierce is fantastic. We're going to keep that. Not going to stop this tear. Again, like, this is not how you want to play Burn, I think. Like, you cannot have your Burn deck being like, oh, well, I'm going to answer my opponent's threats. Like, that's just not how Burn is meant to function. I think you just have to be casting lightning strikes and stuff. Do you have an actual burn spell here? Do you have an actual burn spell? Probably not. It could be instant speed, but I am going to take this opportunity to opt. Alright, cool. And get a Prophetic Memory onto the board. I would love to draw a land here. Nope, useless card. Alright, we're going to pass. We have Spell Pierce and Lightning Axe. We do not currently have Mystical Dispute. But that's fine. I think we want to Lightning Axe the Etchings. Alright, now I think we Lightning Axe the Den. Oh, wait, no, stop. Oh. I'm a fool. I should have done this before attacks. Now they get a 1/1 for free. I make that mistake constantly. Alright, Treasure Cruise is no good. Still though, the fact that they're resorting to this, like, fire up Den so early is probably good for me. Third Path Iconoclast is great. So you get to just hang out and block an Etching of Kamano, probably. And if they try to cast a pre-combat burn spell, I will Spell Pierce it and get a 1/1 and trade off my board for their board. Alright, well, I'll get a 1/1. So at least I get to trade off with the Goblin. Post-combat Skewer. Alright, well, I'm going to play a Pheonix, and I have this Fire Impulse, so I'm going to attack. And we're going to try to turn the corner here. So 7 means they need Boros Charm plus Burn Spell, or 2 other Burn spells. Artist Talent is pretty good here, because it lets me turn this Mystical Dispute into, like, a castable card. They're probably not going to be tapping that much mana. Yeah, Rest in Peace is irrelevant. So I can turn this Mystic Dispute, which is past its shelf life, into a real card, or another Mystical Dispute, I guess. And while I'm doing this, Prophetic Memory is making this Pheonix more real. Yes, this is a 6-power attack. Now they need 7 points of burn, which... Alright, there's 3. So if I can kill them... Alright, I think they've died. I think my Prophydiatic Memory triggers deal 8. Just discard those. Grab another Pheonix for the road. And GG. Yeah, opponent, like, imagine if these Rest in Pieces and that Wear Tear earlier, imagine if those were Burst Lightnings, or, you know, even like any 2 damage burn spells, I would be at -2, I would have lost. So that was a win just thanks to our opponent not understanding how burn works, I think. And like, I've seen that before. This is not the first time I've had burn decks play Rest in Peace against me, and it's just so like anathema to that style of deck that you just cannot be doing that. And I think I beat them that previous time as well. And it's like, yeah. Alright, well, while we're waiting, make sure to follow if you're enjoying. Man, see, every time I start up the follower spiel, so the opponent immediately shows up. It's like they're trying to stop me. Okay, we've got 2 cantrips. We've got 2 cantrips on the play, 2 Pheonixes. This is, like, pretty good. So obviously we need to hit a land drop. So we need to hit a land drop in like the top 5 cards, and we do. Thieves Guild Enforcer. Oh, I love that for me. I love, love, love playing against rogues. Like, their deck just exists to enable my deck. Although I do have to not die. I do have to, like, not actually get milled out, because that could very conceivably happen. So I guess I will... This is sort of the problem, right? So I need to get rid of the Soaring Thought Thief. I'm going to Sleight of Hand first, see if I hit a better removal spell. Otherwise, I'm just going to torch the Thieves Guild Enforcer. And next turn is going to once again be all hands on deck, find lands. But hopefully that goes well and we can kill the Thought Thief and be on our way with the stocked graveyard. Still have 43 cards in deck. They're not really trying to mill us out. They're trying to, like, turn on this sort of thing. But also my deck is running Picklock Pranksters, so it could happen. But should be fine. Also, the fact that I have 2 Pheonixes in hand is, like, super awkward. If I hit an Artist's Talent, it would be pretty good, but as it is, like, their milling me is relatively unlikely to find me anything. Alright, they miss a land drop. I'm going to try to find a land drop. So we might end up stuck in this purgatory where they hit me for 2. We might end up stuck in this purgatory where neither of us draw lands and we both kind of sit here. Hopefully this op finds me something. They're considering countering it, of course. Artist's Talent, I think, has to go to the bottom. A land is just too urgent. Lightning Axe is great if I find a land off of this Consider. I do find a Pheonix, but no land. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Second Soaring Thought Thief. So now they attack me for like 6. Alright, I get to discard a Pheonix, which is pretty neat, if I do say so myself. And then they're going to not deal any damage to me this turn. They're going to flip the Invasion into... what does it flip into? Just like a 4/4? Alright, it flips into a copy of my Pheonix. But I do hit the land, which means I am relatively likely, yes, I'm relatively likely to get my guys back. I'm going to proactively make sure I hit another land next time. I'm going to kill a Thought Thief, since those are scarier in multiples. Alright, my Phoenixes come back. I think they're on the defensive because they have a 4/4 flyer. And I could have killed that, but I feel like just not getting milled out when I have 2 Picklock Pranksters in hand is also super important. Alright, they attack me with that. I'm going to triple block to make sure they don't blow me out somehow. Alright, so the Thought Thieves are gone. And we should be pretty fine. Treasure Cruise is great. We certainly have the cards in graveyard for this. Alright, so that was what? 2 spells, Treasure Cruise plus 1 other. So I guess I will Fiery Impulse this just so that I can have cast a 3rd spell, and this also lets me attack profitably this turn. So now they're at 8. I mean, this Rogue's deck seems like completely embarrassing against me. It's just like they mill me to turn on my Phoenixes, but they don't mill me enough to like actually threaten anything meaningful. Alright, there's another Pheonix in the yard. So now I just need to not go too hog wild and deck myself. And preferably find an answer to this, although it's not super urgent. Alright, so now the options are... I guess the thing that makes the most sense is to play an untapped land to hold up Spell Pierce. Alright. They play a Flood Pit's Drowner. That is a stun counter. They're probably just dead here. I can't imagine they deal 17 damage or mill 13. And I only need to cast 3 spells to get this guy back. And even if I don't, yeah, okay. Their deck, I assume they're going to be bringing in crazy graveyard hate, because this is like the huge weakness of their deck, is that they just turn on all of my stuff forever. They have lots of mid-sized creatures, so I'll take the Anger of the Gods. Let's see here. Annul seems obviously bad. They have a lot of flash stuff, so Floodmaw seems... flash stuff and ETBs, Floodmaw seems awful. What other cuts? Spell Pierce could be a cut. They have a lot of creatures. They have some... I mean, they have some non-creatures, like this is a battle. Spell Pierce might be fine. I gotta make cuts somewhere, and a card that might be fine. Seems like the sort of thing to cut. And then 3 Sleight of Hands go away because they're sorcery speed cantrips. Alright, so what graveyard hate do we think they have? Probably just Unlicensed Hearse. Probably Unlicensed Hearse. I mean, they could be running like Leyline of the Void or something if they're super crazy, but probably not. Could be Deadly Cover-Up. Although I don't think they want to be wrathing themselves. Alright, I do not need Treasure Cruise number 3. Even against their deck, that's just a bit too much. I'm going to shock this in so that I can Picklock Prankster. Alright. They can Thoughtseize me, that's fine. Got pretty good redundancy here. I think the Mystical Dispute might be the take, or if they have a second discard spell, they might want to take both Treasure Cruises. Nope. Alright. So I'll free the Fae. Yikes, there goes a complete brick. A complete brick plus, like, 2 of my win cons into the graveyard. Certainly not what you want to see off of a Picklock Prankster. Alright, Mutavault is whatever. Kaito is a beautiful counterspell target. I love that for me. I'm going to Picklock Prankster Part 2 and a Crackling Drake into the bin. Picklock Pranksters have sort of been betraying me, but hopefully it works out as just good Treasure Cruise food. They're tapped out, so I'm going to just jam 2 Treasure Cruises, and I guess I should consider first. Fire Impulse is fantastic. No Pheonixes is kind of weird. Alright, there's a Pheonix. And the only way to get that into the graveyard super easily is discard to hand size, so I guess I'll do that. Hive of the Eye Tyrant is tapped, and thus much too slow. I'm going to go to my turn, so that these cantrips all count. I don't want Picklock Prankster because milling is kind of dicey. So we're just going to cast 3 cantrips. Treasure Cruise is too difficult at the moment. I'll take an Arclight Pheonix. I don't have mana up. I have 2 removal spells, so it's like reasonably likely that I can stop them from doing something crazy. Right, they're just going to Brazen Borrower me. That's fine. I will discard it to hand size. Got him. Alright, that's actually... no, it's fine because I'm just going to be killing the Hive if they fire it up, and they don't even try. Alright, well, time to fire off some cantrips. That's kind of a yikes in terms of library count. Gotta keep an eye on that. They can mess me up real quick with that. They'll take Anger of the Gods, I guess. 4, 5, 6, 7. Treasure Cruise. Library count is getting extraordinarily dicey. And I was not keeping track of my spells this turn. I'm going to run out an Artist Talent. Alright, I do get my Pheonix back. That's great. I'm not going to discard a Pheonix to hand size. I'm going to discard Artist's Talent because of the Hive. Unless they kill this, in which case I will. Alright, flashing in a blocker. That's fine then. And flashing in a Fairy Mastermind. So since there's already Pheonix in the yard, I'm not stopping anyone. I'm not stopping the Hive activation from messing me up. So I'll just let that happen. It's a shame I tapped out for the Artist's Talent. Probably was a mistake. But like, not a huge one. Alright, let's kill a Fairy Mastermind. And I think we send back the Anger of the Gods here. Although this lets them draw a card. Forget that this has text aside from being a 2-1 flash. Alright, I don't think I'm going to be able to get Phoenixes back, so I'm just going to run out Picklock Prankster Part 1 and 2. And then pass with mana up. Alright. I need to figure out how I'm going to win with 16 cards in deck. Unlicensed Hearse is to be expected, but obviously very bad for me. I'm going to run out a Hardcast Pheonix. And honestly, I think we channel Silken Zen. Does this leave me dead to those things? No. Alright. Picklock Prankster has Vigilance. The 1/1s are free to attack into their 2/1. Dang, alright. They fire up the Mutavault to block a 1/1. That's fine though, we still push a damage through. And let's see, this is just a single stun counter, but they can shuffle it into my library. Which ironically gives me an extra card in deck, which could matter. I don't expect it to, but could. Alright, opponent. Have you been playing slow? No. Okay. You're definitely taking your time on this one. Yep, fire up the Hive. Attack me for 3. I will go to 4. That's Menace. Alright, what if I hardcast another Arclight Pheonix? And this time if you fire up the Mutavault, I will Fiery Impulse it. No, they're just trading. Alright, and second Picklock Prankster. Alright, Fatal Push is pretty good. They can Unlicensed Hearse to remove it permanently. But we have 2 removal spells. And Picklock Prankster being Vigilant Defender is pretty cool as well. Second Hearse doesn't really matter. I guess technically it could be an additional creature, but Not realistically. I'm going to attack you for 5. And just hold on to these artist talents, I guess. I can discard them when I use my lightning axes. Alright, the hearse is now out of range of lightning axe, but not out of range of lightning axe plus fiery impulse. And they would need to crew it with something like a fairy mastermind. Or Mutavault. Alright, the fairy mastermind could be on chump block duty. Trying to figure out what they want to crew. Alright. So they fire up the hearse. They go to attacks. And I guess I can pay 5. Alright, third path Iconoclast, very late to the party. But it will definitely be played. And I gave them a card off of Fairy Mastermind, which could have been... I could have just not done that. Alright, it doesn't matter. At least not a lot. I'm going to run out the Iconoclast and attack. I might have wanted to burn out the Fairy Mastermind. Yeah, that was probably a bit of a whoopsie. Hopefully third path Iconoclast is going to dig me out of this. I still have 10 cards in library. That's plenty. I have exactly 2 instants and sorceries in graveyard, so Fiery Impulse could be turned off by Unlicensed Hearse. Or they might end up just firing up the Unlicensed Hearse. It looks like what they're thinking about. If they do that, I will just consider and chump block it with a 1/1. And that doesn't matter. Alright, they fire up the Hive. They crew the Hearse. They attack with both. Alright, with that on the stack, I will Fiery Impulse to kill their Hive. Make a 1/1 to chump the Hearse. This doesn't have trample or anything, right? Right. Past blocks. Block that with a 1/1. And now we're going to consider get another 1/1 and try to win the game. Fairy Mastermind. Alright. That's fine. We can just cast more spells. So that is blocking 2. So this puts me to 4 damage. So any burn spell, any cantrip here. Alright, Anger of the Gods, not the ticket. I guess we play that. So I need to leave back blockers because this isn't lethal. So they fire up the Mutavault. They crew the Hearse. They have 3 attackers, but most of them aren't lethal on their own. I think the full attack is fine So they're not going to have the Fairy Mastermind, because they need to chump block with it, or trade with the Iconoclast specifically. The 2 Picklock Pranksters on defense can cover for the Unlicensed Hearse and one of the Mutavault / Forsaken Miners. And then we take 2, go to 2, and we are fine. Obviously this loses to a removal spell off the top. They have 2 cards in hand. If either of these are removal spells, then they win. But that's just how it is. I guess no, because they even have to tap the Forsaken Miner to crew the hearse. So even a single removal spell doesn't do it. It has to be double removal spell, otherwise I win on the backswing. Kaito
Bet you didn't expect to see me here.
Is a single removal spell, which also crews the hearse. Yep, alright. That's unfortunate. Very close there. I could have left back a 1/1. I don't think it would have changed the math. Probably should have done that. But it's fine. We're just gonna... Alright, this hand is great. We've got a Mystical Dispute. We've got plenty of cantrips. Alright, turn 1 Forsaken Miner is kind of scary. There's a 1 mana 2/2. All the Storm Giants could be super useful. So this is 2 or more other lands and enters tapped. So this has to be played now to enter untapped. This can wait a single more turn. Alright, I'll just take 2. Second Forsaken Miner. I guess we take Lightning Axe. I already have a second Picklock Prankster. And we pass. I don't want to take 4 here. They are missing land drops. So they kept a 1-lander. Alright, so I can torch a Forsaken Miner, get rid of it permanently, or force them to have interaction, which is fine. Alright, they're going to Fatal Push it, so that it just goes to the graveyard instead of permanently gone. Well, now I'm going to play a 3/2 haste and just try to make their clock not good enough. They do find second land drop, but nothing to go with it, which is pretty cool. I can afford to play a tap land and Mystic Dispute the Flood Pit's Drowner. Play a Picklock Prankster, so now they don't even have damage. Alright, Fatal Push is fine. They can get a Forsaken Miner back. So this is pretty much the battle of the recursive graveyard threats. I'm going to Fiery Impulse your Forsaken Miner. Run out an Artist's Talent just because. Attack you for 3, play a blocker. So now you once again have to answer a blocker to get any damage in. Yeah, and they just pass. That's great for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I am pretty close to being able to fire up the Hall. Alright, Flood Pit's Drowner slows me down a fair bit, but they can't get that back off of it because it's 2 mana. I'm going to swing in there. Level up Artist Talent, and end the turn. So now I have Lightning Axe available. Alright, this attack seems kind of suspicious. Is it going to be a Kaito? Yes, it is. And that has Hexproof on their turn. So I guess that's something. And they are certainly stun countering my guys. Well, I still can't fire up the hall, so I am going to Artist's Talent and pass. Kaido sure does have some text on him, huh? Surveil 2, then draw a card. That's fine. So now the question is going to be, do I kill the Kaito with my Arclight Pheonix when it untaps? Alright, Thoughtseize brings back Forsaken Miner. Takes the Mystic Dispute but puts them to 6. That's kind of dodgy for them. Alright. I can full juice Lightning Axe the Forsaken Miner. Discard the second Lightning Axe. Do not have the cards for that. And I could put them to 3. I'm just going to kill the Kaito. I'll consider in response here. This is not the right game for Anger of the Gods. It is the right game for Treasure Cruise. I've already drawn my second card for this turn. Oh, and they just traded with the guy, obviously. So I'm just going to draw a 3. Now I do have Hall of the Storm Giants just sneakily, if they don't play an actual factual blocker, they straight up die.
I've got you beat 6 different ways.
Alright. If they do not have an actual factual blocker, Hall of the Storm Giants could just kill them. Archfiend of the Dross. Aight. Let's fire up Hall of the Storm Giants. So they have to chump block with their Archfiend. And the Kaito goes to 1, which probably matters for something. I could chump block this. I think this chump block makes sense. Just to cut down the amount of shenanigans they can have.
I've trained with the best.
Another Archfiend. And a Thoughtseize. Alright, well, I can Treasure Cruise and be fine as long as I hit a land drop. An untapped land specifically. Prophesidetic Memory is pretty good. So now I can just get back Phoenixes, I think. I think getting back a bunch of Phoenixes. How many are in here? 2. Alright, so 2 Phoenixes. If I can find a third, and I have a billion looks, then I win. Fiery Impulse is, I guess, one more of those also works. Alright, yep, there's the additional Pheonix. So the game is over. So now I can attack them with enough creatures. Yeah, so now I attack them with 3 creatures, they block 2, and then lose to my Phoenixes. And that is just good, clean gameplay. You know it's bad when they play Archfiend to the Dross Chump Blocker 2 turns in a row. Alright, let's do another one. Yeah, I mean, this has got a whole lot of cantrips and a treasure cruise. So the cantrips will fill the graveyard, treasure cruise will find me something. Hands like this are so funny because, like, does this hand do anything? No. Is it great? Yeah, probably. The illusion of choice. Will I take a Picklock Prankster or a Picklock Prankster? Hollow Storm Giant seems great. And I guess I'll keep up mana in case I want to Lightning Axe something. They're black-green. Alright, so this is just going to be like the rock, basically. I don't need a 4th land immediately. Find one anyway. Thank you. Alright. Just play a tap land. So is this going to be the Vraska combo? Alright, so there goes my treasure cruise. Which is super unfortunate, because that is like my primary plan for this game. But we have a lot of looks at a treasure cruise. They're just going to run out of 3-2. Let's grab some cards. Still no treasure cruise in sight. I might want to... Alright, there we go. That's the stuff. 4, 5, 6, 7. Treasure cruise me up. Alright. And there's a Pheonix. Since there's a Pheonix, I will Lightning Axe this to discard my Pheonix. And that ought to be 3 spells. Because I've spent 3 mana on 3, 1, and all my stuff is 1 mana, so we get my Pheonix back. Yeah, counting the amount of mana you spent is typically a very good way of determining whether or not you're getting a Pheonix back. Archfiend to the Dross. It sure is a 6/6 flyer. I could just Floodmaw that. Kind of tempted to just Floodmaw that. Later on in the game, it gets much, much worse because my Hollow Storm Giants can just beat it in combat a lot of the time. The illusion of choice, once again. Torch the tower. I guess I'll keep. And play a tap land, go to combat. Doesn't really matter sequencing so much since they're tapped out. I'll play a Picklock Prankster. They're probably just going to recast the Archfiend. I don't really want to 2-for-1 myself to kill that, but it's looking like that is going to be what happens. Okay, it's going to be a 3-for-1 actually. Fun. So that's Lightning Axe. Kill the Archfiend. Discard Spell Pierce. Torch the tower. Archfiend gone permanently. The bad news is we are completely out of juice. We got a treasure cruise, which was a 3-for-1 in our favor. And now we've just 3-for-1 against our favor. Alright, Picklock Prankster is great. Alright, Double Fiery Impulse is pretty good. It means I can 2-for-1 myself again to get rid of the demon. And now they're down to 5. So if they have like a board wipe or something, I'm in serious trouble. But if they're just going to play a Sentinel of the Nameless City, then I think we're cooking. One more land also fires up Hall of the Storm Giants, which is certainly not spectacular here. They have a blocker, but it's better than nothing. Alright, so you lose your Sentinel and you go to 2. I think it's going to be nearly impossible for my opponent to win this game. They have to deal with the Pheonix, and they have to deal with the Hall through Ward 3. Yeah. As expected, they concede. So they're Golgari. They're just Golgari good stuff. Literally is just the rock. Alright, well they're going to have Graveyard Hate for sure, so we'll bring in those. A Null seems like kind of mid against them. They have Unholy Annex. I don't know how many of those they have. They're certainly not as big on enchantments as the Rakdos deck would be. Anger of the Gods is good. They probably want to be playing lots of smallish creatures like Mosswood Dread Knights. Although the Sentinels might be too big for that to work out. Abrupt Decay can't be countered. And a lot of the rest of their stuff are creatures. I think Spell Pierce is probably bad because of that. And we cut to Sleight of Hands and call it a day. And we'll have to see. If they have a Licensed Hearse, we might find room for Prismaric Command in Game 3. Other than that, I think just trying to play around the Graveyard Hate is better than beating it. Alright, we have a No-Lander. Super easy mulligan. Alright, this is a one-lander, but it is a one-lander with a cantrip on the draw and a huge amount of gas. I think we get rid of the Lightning Axe because I'm on a mulligan. I can't afford a 2-for-1. So this is only one cantrip, so it absolutely could go wrong. I feel much better about one land, 2 cantrips on the draw, but we'll have to try this. Yeah, instant Thoughtseize. Fortunately, my hand is chock full of nonsense. Taking the Iconoclast makes sense. Alright, we hit the second cantrip. That's pretty good. Opt does not find us a land. We have Draw Step and Consider to find a land. It would be super cheeky of them to take the Consider here. Alright, now we find the land drop. In that case, we're going to ram Proph's Eidetic Memory into play. And now with 2 mana, our odds of being able to find third land drop go up a lot. We can double Consider. Alright, they just play Unholy Annex. Third land drop just naturally falls into our lap. Love that. Lightning Axe is a hard sell. Fiery Impulse is probably fine. I'm going to play a tap land and pass. So if they do just like Alright, so they go blank me. Get rid of those two. Keep the Pheonix. Keep the way to refuel my graveyard now that it's messed up. They have Unholy Annex, but it's bad Unholy Annex. That's dealing them 2. I'll take Sleight of Hand, I guess. Technically give me more information. Alright, we're missing land drops. However, we do have a Flood Maw to stop their demon. Alright. They probably take the Flood Maw. No, they take the card. Alright, so this means another go blank. Alright, second go blank probably means I'm screwed. Alright, now we are on Picklock Prankster. Try to draw a bunch of cards next turn. Hopefully just like grow this Keen-Eyed Curator. Alright, so that's good intel. So that's their other graveyard hate. It's not reach. It's not reach, so I'll swing in for 1. I really needed this to not be a land. I'm going to hold it in hand. They might Thoughtseize me or something. So that could be a 7/7 trampler this turn pretty comfortably, if they wanted, which is definitely a problem. They don't want that. They probably, yeah, they just want to play Archfiend of the Dross. Alright, we are on cantrip a bunch. So we have cantrips that can chain. Alright, sadly the cantrip chain didn't go far enough. And we only have a 3/5. Cannot attack into their Archfiend. And I don't think we'll be able to hold on. Alright, Duress just finds a land. I don't think we're going to be able to hold on for 3 turns. That already has a card under it. So it could be a 7/7 trampler, which means I am obligated to block here. This will save me 1 more life, I guess. Probably dead. No, alright, they don't pump up the Keen-Eyed Curator, which is a bit surprising. I think I would have straight up died to that. Alright, the second Unholy Annex, also very bad for me. Yeah, I draw another land. The classic moving from Mana Screw to Mana Flood within the space of like 2 turns. So let's see, their graveyard hate was go blanks. And that, if that's the case, I might bring Spell Pierce back in. And Flood Maw is good against them. Torch the Tower, Exiles, which is great. Fire Impulse deals 3, which is good for the Curator. I have not seen a Sheoldred out of them. They have not, so far, cast Sheoldred the Apocalypse. I think we might trim 2 Lightning Axes. If, like, their demons are 6/6s, their Archfiend of the Dross are 6/6s. Lightning Axe is just kind of inefficient for dealing with pretty much anything in their deck. Alright, get the 0-lander. Into the 1-lander. They are a discard-heavy deck. I am obligated to keep any semi-reasonable hand. Which kind of sucks. I'm going to throw back the Pheonix and try to live off of my considers. They play a basic swamp and say good game. Yeah, I do sort of understand why you would say that. It's not over. I need to hit a land. We probably take the treasure cruise here just on the off chance. No, okay. They take the artist talent. Alright, well, they're going to play a 3-2. I'm going to use my mana since it's possible to do so. And I'm going to never draw a second land and die. Well, I'm going to use my mana since it's possible to do so. Right, tap land. That's something, I guess. Treasure Cruise could get me out of this, and I have 2 of them, so it's going to be hard for them to take it. Unholy Annex. Alright, Crackling Drake in hand. I think we Picklock Prankster, end of their turn, and try to Treasure Cruise our way out of this catastrophe of a game. Archfiend of the Dross is pretty good. There's a demon for the Annex. Alright. Well, this is my one shot. Treasure Cruise, auto pay the blue mana. Put an island into play and an artist's talent. I'm taking, what, 8 a turn from the Archfiend. So I technically... Alright, Abrupt Decay, my artist's talent, pretty good. Second Unholy Annex, so now I'm going to be taking 10 a turn if I can't kill this Archfiend. Yikes. Alright, well... So I guess either I play Crackling Drake and try to not lose this turn. I think the better option is going to be try to assemble 2 burn spells. No, it seems impossible. Alright, well I can play a Picklock Prankster and chump block the Archfiend unless they have a removal spell, and they have 20 billion cards, so they probably have a removal spell. Yep. Opponent is saying good game. Which, yeah, good game on turn 1 was blatant BM. In that situation, it's just objectively true. I don't know. Who says good game on turn 1 after they, like, before you cast the Thoughtseize that reveals I'm mana screwed? Like, if they had Thoughtseized me, seen that I was mana screwed, and, like, taken my cantrip, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, that's understandable. But before they even cast the Thoughtseize, mulligan into Thoughtseize is not, like, 100% loss. It is possible. Where are my lands in these last couple of games? Alright, this is fine. We've got 2 lands. We've got a cantrip. We sort of need to hit lands and spells to cast this burn, but it's fine. Put the Pheonix back. Keep it for later. I have to take a red source. I would love an artist's talent, but I have to be able to cast it. I'll shock in there, I guess. So I have red mana available. This is going to be Rakdos midrange, 2 Blood Crypts. Spell Pierce is quite good if I can hold it up against their what's it called? The Unholy NX. Yes, I would love for that just to not be a thing. These are all kind of good, but I do need to draw lands and stuff, so I will get rid of one of them. Tap land, go. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I'll consider in response. Decline that. Alright. That didn't work out perfectly. Definitely do not need the Lightning Axe. I will Flood Mod their Goblin Shaman. So obviously if they play a Shieldred, I'm going to be real sad about that decision. No Phoenixes in the bin. Let's go looking for one, I guess. I think the land drop is too important. Alright, I'll take the Lightning Axe so that I don't have to be sad about my life decisions if they have a Shieldred. And I'll play out the Picklock Prankster. Fatal Push. Makes sense. That card is pretty good in general. Not great against me. Not super many targets. Especially not game 1. It's quite good game 2 against Iconoclasts and even Crackling Drakes with Revolt. Kaito. So they're like Grixis mid-range, huh? That's a thing. Don't know how to beat a Kaito in this position. Seems pretty tough.
I thrive in the dark.
Alright, they're just attacking for 5. Playing Blade of the Oni. Alright. I will kill the Reflection of Kiki Jiki. Get a Pheonix, finally. So I could fire up the Hall of the Storm Giants, but it would be tapped. Let's swing in for 3 at the Kaito. Alright, they're just surveilling pre-combat for some reason. Normally, if you want to activate that, you do it after combat so you can draw a card. My opponent is definitely cooking, but I don't think they're cooking something very good. So that has Menace, so I'm not blocking that. And it can give the Tiny Bones Menace. Yeah, I'm just dead here. I'm dead to reconfigure onto the Tiny Bones. So, what are they cooking? They're like Rakdos midrange splashing blue for Kaito, but they don't know how to attack first. I don't know. Let's take those cards in. We definitely need to stop their Unholy Annexes, so a Null is good. If I look at their mana base, the blue is definitely a splash, so Mystical Dispute probably isn't good. Let's see here. Lightning Axe is great if they have Shieldreds. Pretty bad if they don't. I guess it stops Blade of the Oni reconfigure. Let's say Spell Pierce is probably bad. They have a lot of creatures. Obviously they have a lot of non-creatures too, but it's only going to be good like half the time. And then we do our traditional cut to Sleight of Hand and hit submit. Alright, this hand is pretty good. We have Iconoclast, we've got cantrips. Play a blue source. So do I consider on one? No. They're probably going to take Treasure Cruise or Iconoclast. Not obvious which, depending on how they want to play the game overall. They go for Treasure Cruise. I'm going to consider take a land drop. Play the Iconoclast out, since there's no guarantee I'll have a spell to use with it. But I do find one, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to play the land they know about, and go to attacks. Alright, they're going to go for the throat. I will consider in response, get a 1-1. And I will opt in response, get a 1-1. And I will keep a Picklock Prankster, because that's a good card. Alright, I'm going to run out Arclight Pheonix and attack them for 5. Like, this is just the most aggressive possible play. Alright, they have a Blood Tithe Harvester and a Licensed Hearse. I think I kill the Blood Tithe Harvester and put them to 4. And say, just good luck dealing with this. And pass the turn. Gonna Picklock Prankster in the end step. There is a thought to running it out, so I have lethal in the air. But I think if they're going to have a removal spell, it's going to get rid of the Pheonix, and then I won't have lethal anyway. So I think hedging for the longer game is going to be better. Plus I can stop a blocker with Floodmaw, which might be what's about to happen. Yeah, I mean, this line that they've just taken relies on me not having Floodmaw, which is face up in my hand. So they just die. Alright. Happy with my sideboarding, let's do another one. Alright. Opponent. Yeah, opponent obviously chooses to go first. Never mulligan if you can avoid it against these decks with discard spells. Duress is going to take the Treasure Cruise. Alright, so that reads to me like they have multiple discard spells and they want to take both Artist's Talents. Because you always take the Treasure Cruise otherwise. Yeah, second Thoughtseize. Probably going to take second Artist's Talent. Alright, let's try to opt into a third Artist's Talent, shall we? Third land is probably going to be important. I'll play the land they know about, just for mind game purposes. 3 cards in the graveyard. Means Treasure Cruise is a ways off. Unlicensed Hearse means Treasure Cruise is going to be very hard to get on. Alright. Artist's Talent is great. Run that out. And play a tap land. So Artist's Talent plus cantrips are going to be necessary for these Treasure Cruises to do anything. Alright, well I can hard cast a Pheonix and start putting pressure on. Yep. Rip Graveyard. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So if I get a cantrip, I'm definitely discarding one of these treasure cruises. I do not get a cantrip, but I do get a second Pheonix. So now I'm attacking for 6 this turn, which is really not a small amount. Like, they do need an answer to this. They exile their own graveyard just to make the hearse bigger. So obviously, I'm not in a great spot here. They've had a bunch of looks at removal spells. If they have, like, any one removal spell, my clock slows down a lot. Alright, well, Lightning Axe is something, I guess. I'm going to level up the Artist talent and go to attacks. Alright. Cracking a treasure to get Revolt. Very cute. Alright, so now my clock kind of sucks, but they're still at 6. They still are taking damage. The problem is I haven't found any cantrips that would make these treasure cruises actually functional, or at very least, like, get rid of them. Third treasure cruise. Just horrific. Alright, well, I'm going to attack for 3. I'm going to pass the turn. And, wait, actually, hang on. No, stop passing the turn. Okay. I'm just going to end of step. Kill the reflection of Kiki Jiki. Just so that they can't, you know, untap, make a 2/2. Alright, Picklock Prankster is very good. So that will turn on a treasure cruise. Ish. I mean, there would be 4 cards in graveyard. Alright, so they're relying on Ritual Chamber plus Unholy Annex to keep them alive. So this is going to put them to 5, the Unholy Annex trigger. Unlicensed Tourist keeps the graveyard in play. Thoughtseize taking my Picklock Prankster is devastating. But it does put them to 1. Alright. Floodmaw 1 time. Give me a Floodmaw 1 time. So they are going to Unlicensed Tourist now for some reason. Torch the Tower, bargain, makes that a trade, which is not good enough. So I have to take Sleight of Hand and look for better. So yeah, obviously that Unlicensed Tourist timing was atrocious. They should have waited, because now I have a second Pheonix as an out as well. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, only 6 because I have the discount. Alright, Lightning Axe is not an out, so I'll discard that to draw an additional card. Alright, double Lightning Axe would have been an out. Alright, consider put a Pheonix into the bin as an out. I guess Sleight of Hand. There's the Floodmaw, we win. And the Pheonix in the bin. We win twice over. Alright, get rid of your blocker, attack you for 6. Alright, well, I've said good game. They have no legal game actions and are just roping for no reason. But technically, the only option they have is they can crew the tapped hearse with the demon for no reason. But yeah, they concede. Alright, that was a great game. It definitely shows why Flood Maw is in the deck. It's very brutal against those giant 6/6 tokens. Alright. And another one. Alright. Playing against Gandalf. Is Gandalf actually a control player, or are they deceitful? Alright, this hand has a billion cantrips. It probably... Yeah, I mean... Duress into the 4 cantrip Lightning Axe hand. Like, really? Alright, they take Lightning Axe. Makes sense. One of these things is not like the other. We're going to Sleight of Hand into, into another Consider. If we find a Treasure Cruise... Alright, Prophetic Memory is pretty good. I'm going to run that out before they have the opportunity to Thoughtseize. So now even like a Picklock Prankster is pretty great. Alright, they have Fable. That's fine. Alright, there's a Picklock Prankster. I'm not just going to run it out as a 1/3 immediately. Alright, we do get a Treasure Cruise. And a Pheonix in the bin. Both of those are fantastic. So next turn we consider Treasure Cruise, get Pheonix back. Alright, they bin the Thoughtseize. Despite the fact that I have Treasure Cruise. That's pretty good. I might have wanted to Fiery Impulse the Goblin Shaman. I don't think it's worth it. Alright, Unholy Annex comes in. That is going to deal them 2 damage this turn. Alright, end of turn, they haven't done anything exciting. I will Fiery Impulse the Goblin Shaman now, just to use my mana efficiently. Alright, consider number 1. Don't need a second Picklock Prankster. Consider number 2. We do actually need a blue source. Not like that. Alright. Well, that's rude. Did not consider Sokenzan being mono red. Turning off all our fun. Well, I get to Lightning Axe the Mutavault and then shock them for another 2. Alright, now Blade of the Oni comes down. Alright. Well, I'm going to kill Blade of the Oni. Discard an Opt. Worse cantrip than Consider. So they can fire up the Mutavault in response so that they don't take damage from their Unholy Annex, but the Blade of the Oni is scary. I just don't want to deal with that if at all possible. Now we get to Treasure Cruise. And I'm not sure if I want to bring the Pheonix back, or if I just want to have a Picklock Prankster with a bunch of counters on it. I think just having a Picklock Prankster with a bunch of counters on it is going to be pretty good. And I could hit an untapped land here. Yeah, so I actually get both. And I don't think I need another untapped land in the future. Find one anyway. Alright, they look like they might want to Fatal Push or something here. They torch the tower, killing the thing that is not about to be a 6/8. So that screams Fatal Push in hand if this Picklock Prankster isn't actually a problem. They're shocking. Is that... Alright. Go for the throat. My Picklock Prankster, as expected. Fire up the Mutavault. Then why did they shock? What did they shock for? Nothing. They just like taking 2 damage, I guess. Alright, well, to each their own. I'm going to Artist Talent, untap land, free the Fae, get rid of a tap land. Alright, second Pheonix is pretty good. Third Pheonix in the bin is great. So I need to hit an untapped land to get Phoenixes back, I think. What's my mana been used on this turn? Artist Talent, Picklock Prankster. So I would need to hit untap land. Untap land or cantrip is pretty decent odds, I think. So I'll go for it. And just get rid of the Arclight Pheonix. Wait. No. Oh, I could have Fire Impulsed in response as my third spell. Oh well. I can kill the Mutavault. So that's fine. No, okay, they're just firing up the big guns. It's gonna be pretty hard. Alright, never mind. It's actually very easy to defeat. Floodmaw your demon. Discard backup Artist Talent. Second spell, free the Fae. Discard a tap land. I mean, third spell, Treasure Cruise. 4, 5, 6, 7. Gotta avoid the Phoenixes. And I guess we discard the Opt. Play an untapped land. Play a Picklock Prankster to get all the counters. Still have Fiery Impulse up. That was a fantastic turn. And they are probably dead next turn unless they have something good. Alright, so they could have Fatal Push. Yep, Fatal Push, that's fine. Now they're going to need another source of a demon. Right, Torch the tower is annoying, but I need to hold up Fiery Impulse to kill their Mutavault. Alright. Kill you. Ah, good old 1-mana Stone Rain. You do love to see it. Alright, so now they are taking 2 from their own Unholy Annex. Unfortunately, I'm out of gas. Fortunately, I have Hollow Storm Giants. Attack you for 10? So you need a removal spell for the Arclight Pheonix, and you still go to 3? Alright, they have a removal spell for the Arclight Pheonix. They still go to 3. And now they need to not die to their own Unholy Annex over the next 2 turns, or my Hall of the Storm Giants next turn. Alright, Blade of the Oni doesn't do it, because I have Fiery Impulse. Yeah, okay, game's over. Yeah, they needed that to work. They needed that to work, both because it would have put me to 2 and it would have given them a chump blocker. Instead, they go to -1 and I win. Alright, so sideboard, we take in the usual suspects. Take out... Floodmaw is great against them. It might, honestly... So Spell Pierce is pretty good. They have a lot of interaction. And Unholy Annexes can be caught by Spell Pierces sometimes. So I think it's probably just force Sleight of Hand out. We have less cantrips, but we have more good cards, so less need for cantrips in theory. Also, they have Graveyard Hate, so the Phoenix Plane is less reliable, so less need for cantrips there as well. Alright, this is a no cantrip hand, but it's a very good no cantrip hand. So, Spire Bluff Canal or Hall of the Storm Giants. This means I don't have access to Lightning Axe on turn 1. But, I mean, I guess it's probably just strictly a mistake, right? I think this is just strictly better on turn 1. I'm going to run out Prophesydatic Memory before they can get any funny ideas about discarding it. Because that card is super important because it's my win con against like an Unlicensed Hearse or something where my Phoenixes don't work. Alright. Unholy Annex while I was tapped out. Alright, second Spire Bluff Canal, pretty good. But that is going to tempt them to fire up the Mutavault, and I can Fiery Impulse it, which would be huge here. Just straight up Stone Rain on turn 4. Alright. I don't think there's much of a point in this. I'm killing the Mutavault absolutely 100% of the time. So they may as well get 2 damage out of it. And they missed their land drop as well. They missed their land drop. And... Alright, I'm going to keep the Floodmaw because that beats Ritual Chamber. Another Pheonix. They only have 2 mana in play. No Mutavaults. So presumably Unholy Annex draws are going to find them. Alright. Torch the tower. Unholy Annex draws are probably mean they're going to find their lands, but for now at least, pretty good. Also still no Delirium, which matters a bit. Alright. Post-combat Thoughtseize. If I were them, I would take Floodmaw, but maybe also Spell Pierce. Yeah. So Spell Pierce reads they have a second Annex that they're looking to protect. With Opt, I have very high odds of being able to... Yeah, so I can now discard the Pheonix to a Lightning Axe. Take another land drop. So now I can discard my Pheonix to a lightning axe, kill the fear of missing out, and get it back. And they're under a lot of pressure. They're under a lot of pressure. Their Unholy Annex is certainly not helping them with the aggro. Although second, Torch the Tower is certainly helping them with the aggro. There's no way I can afford to Lightning Axe my own guy. Like, if I do that, it's just going to sit in the graveyard forever. Alright, Shieldred is fine because I have this Lightning Axe. Just get that out of the way before they can draw cards and get a trigger off of it. This is like the optimal time for Treasure Cruise. I've just used my last cards and I have 8 cards in the graveyard. Just fill me up. And just like that, I'm near empty again. I'll play out the land because of Hall of the Storm Giants. So one more land and I can swing for 7. Alright, still no demons in sight. I'm going to hold the opt for my turn so that I can discard, for example, a Spire Bluff Canal, just to get more looks out of it. Spell Pierce is pretty good. It's not great, but it is pretty good. Alright, we ended up finding a land drop anyway. So this is not going to do anything cool this turn, but next turn I can start swinging with Hall and hope that that's good enough. If they can't find a demon this turn, they have Fable of the Mirror Breaker, so they have a lot of looks at it. If they can't find a demon this turn, then a Hall attack will need to be chump blocked every turn for the rest of the game, pretty much. No Mutavault. Alright. Ritual Chamber is very good for them. So, if I attack them here, they go to 3, I die on the backswing. If I don't attack them here, I take 8 and go to 2 on the backswing. I think I'm just dead. So, if I go to 2, I have outs. If I go to 2, I have outs, like Floodmaw, for example. But even then, like, with Reflection as an additional attacker. And they also could very likely have any removal spell for this. Alright, my mouse is heading towards the concede button. Yep. Alright, we tried. Sometimes you play to your outs and you don't get there. So the other out was attack, hope they don't think, and chump block, but I don't think there's any world in which that happens. Alright, no lander. This is quite good. I think we throw back... Honestly, I think we throw back Steam Vents. Like, we're going to have a lot of looks at lands this game. It'll be fine. So which of these do I play first? I think Crofts is more important. It also cantrips on its own, which is nice. So Artist's Talent. So I would love to draw a land. I do not. I would love to consider into a land. I would love to opt into a land. Alright, well, I took a hand with a billion looks at a third land, and I didn't hit a third land. I think my mulligan was still correct. I think putting the third land to the bottom was still correct. I think that's just variance for you, and that's what's hard about Magic, is that there is variance, so it's often difficult to tell, like, did you make the right decision or the wrong decision, because it's not just did it work out. Alright, we're still missing land drops. Alright, I mean, that's just absurd. So, what, 3 lands in the top 45, but there are even 2 on the bottom, so it's worse than that. I'll kill the Blade of the Oni to stop them from having a huge clock. They still have a pretty good clock. Now I'm even out of cantrips that can hit lands, and they have a Shieldred. I think I have to just tempo the Shieldred. Alright, Treasure Cruise will surely 3 looks at a land. Surely this will work. It does. And it even finds me a Lightning Axe to kill the Shieldred when they recast it, which is absolutely what I need. I'm going to take 3, go to 9 here. Unstoppable Slasher, you say? Well, that's awful for me. Take another land. And I guess defensive Arclight Pheonix blocks the Slasher. Then I kill the Slasher somehow when it returns. They don't have Revolt right now, so they need to go to their turn and get Revolt somehow if they have a Fatal Push. I would love for them to just go to attacks. Alright, this block makes me very happy. Now they cast Shieldred, I assume. No, now they cast Go Blank. Artist Talent, Spell Pierce. I only need 1 Artist Talent. They're looking like they're going to be casting creatures for the rest of eternity. Alright, don't channel Silken, that would be horrible. Run out Crackling Drake, have Lightning Axe available, and just try to run them down is probably best. They surely would have killed my Pheonix if they had a way of triggering Revolt or a spell that kills just anyways. Surely they would have killed my Pheonix and gotten the Unstoppable Slasher hit in pre-combat. Alright, I'm wrong. They have to go for the throat. Alright. So there's going to be no Shieldred this turn. So I think I have to preserve my life total. Get rid of an extra land. Blade of the Oni. Alright. Well, that's 1 spell. I can't Artist Talent into opt into another spell. Third Path Iconoclast isn't good enough. I don't know what is good enough at this point. I don't know if I have outs. So this has Menace, which means that just blocking it doesn't work. They have Fatal Push anyway. And now I've used my Lightning Axe. I have no answer to Shieldred. I would need something incredible to happen here. Yeah, and Holy Annex puts me to 1. There is nothing in my deck that gets me out of this. Alright. Well, it was close at least. Alright, let's do another one. While we're waiting for an opponent, make sure to follow if you're enjoying. If you're over on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. And I make Magic content Tuesday, Thursday, Satisfactory Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So make sure to watch out for that. No lander again. 5 lander, but with Artist's Talent. I think 5 lander, but with Artist's Talent is probably acceptable. Can throw back a basic island, I guess. Alright, I'm keeping all of my spells for post Artist's Talent because I need to dig. This is the same deck again, because it's always the same deck again. Yeah, I'm very tempted to, like... There's got to be, like, 3 or 4 more sideboard cards for this matchup, because it's just so common. Like, it is just every single... Like, basically every game is this one deck. Alright, there's a Pheonix. That's pretty good. Spell number 2 is going to be Torch that. Discard a Pheonix. Spell number 3 is going to be Impulse that. Discard a Picklock Prankster. We do hit a tap land for next turn. Yeah. This is, like, Artist Talent is great. We kept, like, a 5-lander, and we're just doing fine. Alright. Main deck, Torch the Tower, of course. And Blade of the Oni is quite scary as well. I'm going to Picklock Prankster, discard... I guess the Opt, because if I hit an untapped blue source, I would like to Picklock Prankster instead. I don't. Alright, Treasure Cruise. Play a tap land. My blue sources are a bit sketch here. I had to play a couple of red lands, which I wouldn't normally want to do. They're just firing up Mutavault and going in? Okay. How many Phoenixes are in here? Just the one. In that case, I can start with the Treasure Cruise. 5, 6, 7. Let's refuel real quick. Sleight of Hand is probably going to be going back. Alright, so we have 1 spell. We have 2 spells. Hall is pretty good. Not great here, but definitely going to keep it. Likewise with Proph's Eidetic Memory. Not going to cast it here, but is a cool thing to have. I think Steam Vents goes back. We play a tapped Hall, get our Phoenixes. Another Phoenix, another 2 Phoenixes. Whew. Alright, let's take a Lightning Axe just to cover us against a Shieldred or something next turn. But this is going to be very difficult. 3 Phoenixes on turn 5 is a lot. Alright, they even have a Fatal Push. So one of them goes. But that means they're empty-handed. And what, they can swing for 4... They can swing for 2 with a Mutavault, 2 with a Reflection. So I'm going to 9, but they are... Prophesied Memory means there's a very good chance they die here. Let's run this out. Yeah, they realize what's going on. So this is the same Rakdos midrange deck that we always play against. I think Anger is good against them. Annul is good. Spell Pierce is kind of dubious. Sleight of Hand goes... I don't know. I really need to sit down and think through sideboard plans more. Like, I didn't build this sideboard, so I don't know what the intention was. I need to, like, sit down and, like, tune it specifically for this matchup. Like, it's just so common that being kind of shaky on what the sideboard plan is for this matchup, of all things, is not acceptable, I think. Alright, Fear of Missing Out, that's fine. I have Anger of the Gods to deal with that eventually. What I need is mana, pretty much. Fiery Impulse could deal with that immediately, but I think we're just going to grab it in an Anger. So I'm just going to play a Spire Bluff Canal and pass. We're doing great on lands. We got 4 of them. Unholy Annex. I am going to opt and try to find a counterspell. Nope, no counterspell. Alright. Now we Steam Vents tapped and pass. So far this Fear is their only creature. I would like to get another creature or 2. Alright. Shieldred time, I guess. Alright. No Lightning Axe found. And Shieldred is going to stabilize them against the thing. Alright, there's the Annul. Right on time. Well, now I am under pressure. I need to run out of Crackling Drake. And unfortunately, so Crackling Drake can block Fear of Missing Out and discourage Mutavault attacks. Unfortunately, they have this Shieldred. And even a Heartless Act. That's a card I haven't seen in a while. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm dead on my upkeep. Oh, Rakdos midrange. What a fun video game experience. Just the same. Remember when everyone was sick and tired of Shieldred, but were excited for it to rotate, and they were like, lol, JK? Talking about standard, of course, but still, like, I cannot believe that they decided this was a card that they wanted to be in standard forever. And it's fine in Explorer, but it's just kind of miserable to play against, because, like, if you don't have an answer, you can't go looking for an answer, and it's just awful. Alright. I have a Blade of Oni. I have a Fiery Impulse. And I definitely do not need a 6th land. Find one anyway. Alright, the flood is real. We're probably going to lose to ourselves this game. Unless maybe they won't be able to find a demon and they'll lose to themselves. That's also a possibility. They're shocking. Playing freaking Sheoldred. Alright, well, we draw Lightning Axe. That's pretty good. And I have no shortage of lands to discard to get rid of that. Alright, land go. You're at 10. Another Sheoldred. Alright, another... Any burn spell off the top? Nope, that's a land off the top. Not a burn spell. So these attacks are just like treading water. So they are losing like 1 a turn. Because the Annex is neutral. Alright, Mutavault gives me something to kill with the Torch the Tower, but I don't think I can even afford to do that. I think I need to hold the Torch to combine with something else to kill the Sheoldred. What a card. I sure do love being forced to find answers, but not allowed to find answers. So now with the Mutavault, now I'm taking 2 a turn from that. So they are not taking any damage at all. Yeah. So I can chump block, go to 4 before my next turn. Yeah, okay. If they're gonna remove blockers, then that's that. Ugh. Am I crazy for thinking that Sheoldred probably shouldn't be a thing in Explorer? Like, this Rakdos midrange deck is the most popular by a lot. And like the 3rd most popular is Rakdos aggro, but that doesn't play Sheoldred. But, I mean, you gotta... Like, surely something must be done about that. Maybe Aether Drift will fix it. But it seems unlikely, because, I mean, it's a Rakdos good stuff deck, so it's just going to take the best Rakdos cards and be better from Aether Drift. Alright, we're playing against Bring to Niv, almost certainly. This hand is... I should have noticed the Yorion first, or I would... No, this is not Bring to Niv. This is someone's pet deck, I guess. So what is this? Azorius. Is this Azorius Control or oh, it's gonna be Esper Bounce, I guess. Yep. I think I have played against this once. Well, in good news, these cards are actually kind of good here. So yeah, opponent is doing Esper Bounce with Yorion. Seems kind of mid, but I don't know. I've seen it twice now, so I guess it must be fine. They sure do have Storm Chaser's talent. I didn't mean to pass there. I was zoned out, not paying attention. It's fine. I can get a Pheonix back. And we consider. Take a treasure cruise. That'll be useful later. And we consider. Don't need a steam vents. Have a 4th land lined up. Alright. Well, we have a clock. They have a well-timed Thoughtseize to take my treasure cruise. And another Storm Chaser's talent to make another Otter. Well, I kind of need to play a second red source here. I guess it's awkward, like you want your lands to be blue as much as possible. But I think just having Torch the Tower and Fiery Impulse up is going to be important here. What if you didn't exist? I'll take one from the Thunder Trap Trainer. And Fiery Impulse at an end step. They're missing land drops. Kind of want to just answer everything they have and make them sad. Spell Pierce. Very good against your opponent who's missed land drops. Yeah, I'm gonna Spell Pierce that. They're missing land drops. The best thing I can do is keep the pressure up. Well, come to think of it, I think I missed a land drop there too. But yeah, they concede. So Esper Bounce. They have lots of blue spells, so that's good. They have lots of enchantments, so a null is good. Anti-graveyard hate stuff is good. Floodmaw is actively the worst thing I could possibly be doing against their deck that wants their stuff to return to hand. Lightning Axe hits Yorion. Probably nothing else. So I think we cut that. And 2 Sleight of Hands. Really the goal in this game is to just be faster and more resilient to graveyard hate. Also, a lot of the times post-board, they probably board out like non-exile based removal if they have any, which means my Iconoclasts and Crackling Drakes are better. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. They play a Rafine's Tower. I'm going to play an untapped land so that I have Spell Pierce available. I could have played a Shock land to have Fire Impulse available, but I don't think I care. Like, there's no real urgent need to Fire Impulse a Thunder Trap Trainer. They grab a Dovin's Veto. Well, that's good to know about. I'm still going to stock up on counter spells. And this time I will shock myself because I want to double opt. Or counterspell plus opt. Alright, Storm Chaser's talent. I'll Mystical Dispute this, and they are almost certainly going to Dovin's Veto. No, they don't. Alright, they just let that through. That's pretty good for me. That is white-blue. Yep, they could have, but they chose not to. So that tells me they have something else they want to do with their 2 mana. I'm going to take a 3rd land drop, because I need to hit that. Land go. I would love for you to tap out for some cool thing that I can spell pierce. Alright, well, I'm going to opt at end of turn. Fourth land drop, tapped is not the greatest, but I do need to hit a fourth land drop. And I will also kill their guy. They are a self-bounce deck, so just not giving them things to self-bounce seems pretty cool. I'll run out Artist Talent as well. They can spell pierce this. They don't. They're holding Dovin's Veto up, but not using it. And I don't fully understand why. Dawnbringer Cleric. Destroy target enchantment. Yeah, alright, that's decent. What if I play a 5/4? No, I think we pass. Actually, I didn't hit a land drop this turn. I should have opted main phase looking for a land drop. Alright, I can take one. That's fine. They're just going to add Yorion to hand. I will cantrip. Fire Impulse is fine. Nowhere near exciting, but take out the Dawnbringer Cleric. Again, they are a self-bounce deck. If they do not have any permanents to self-bounce, they are not doing anything fun. I think I run out the Crackling Drake. It would probably be better to run out Arclight Pheonix first. I mean, they probably have an answer. But I have Spell Pierce up. That might save me. Omen of the Sea. Do I counter Omen of the Sea? I think so. I think just use that, not give them a thing that they can bounce with Yorion. Again, it is a self-bounce deck. Just answer all of their threats. Alright, Rest in Peace doesn't work against Crackling Drake. It doesn't work against Hardcast Phoenixes. Alright, well, I'm going to attack them for 11. Nice Rest in Peace. Alright, nowhere to run, gets rid of a Phoenix, but not a Crackling Drake, which is the real threat here. I would love to sleight of hand into some interaction, just to consider. So I'm just going to run back the same play next turn of Phoenix plus attack. Although hopefully it'll be lethal next turn. Alright, Yorion is going to be able to trade with a Crackling Drake if I don't find a way of getting rid of it. It's also going to... yeah, okay, that doesn't matter unless they have another way to do a similar effect. Alright, no, they just get Revolt to turn on Fatal Push. And now I'm in serious trouble. They've put their engine together. And I just need to run out a Phoenix and pass and hope they don't have another way of bouncing in their self-bounce deck, which seems unlikely, but... alright, Nurturing Pixie. That is a way of bouncing in their self-bounce deck. So there goes my Phoenix. I could have considered to find an annul. I should have considered to find an annul. But they just Dovin's Veto it. So I think Hall of the Storm Giant is probably my win con here. Let's fire up the Hall and start attacking for 7 a turn. They take it, which means they are committed to chump blocking every turn for the rest of the game. Alright, what do they have? An Offspring Thundertrap Trainer. That's going to provide them infinite chump blockers. And by infinite, I mean like 2, which is enough. I can't beat that. Alright. Let's try it again. Yeah, there's no way I'm beating that, especially not through a Dovin's Veto, so just save time. Now the bad news is they have seen my Crackling Drake, which means they get to re-sideboard knowing that, which isn't huge, but it's probably quite helpful for them. Alright, I mean, this has Prof Eidetic Memory, Picklock, Prankster. It's fine. Not amazing, but can do some work here. We don't have any red sources, but yeah, we have cantrips for days. We'll find something. Alright, they have Thoughtseize, so probably going to take my Prof Eidetic Memory. They might take the Prankster. Yeah, okay. They take the Prankster. No respect for Prof Eidetic Memory. I'm going to consider into a red source. That's fine. Artist's Talent. Now, I'm going to play Prof Eidetic Memory first. That gives me a Spell Pierce, which is pretty cool. So last turn I had a lot of disruption. I was able to slow them down a lot, but I had no pressure. This game, I just need to get a good clock going. Like, Third Path Iconoclast is great. So if they try to kill this, I Spell Pierce them, and they just concede. That is strange to me. The concession doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe they missed a land drop and were salty about it. Maybe they just didn't sideboard in a way that could do anything against Third Path Iconoclast, but that seems like that can't be true. I mean, it's literally a 2-1. Alright, let's do another one. Yep, this is Artist's Talent. Could be anything type of hand. We're going to play Artist's Talent first, Cantrip second. Cabaret Courtyard. Alright, so this is going to be the Nissa Graveyard Lands combo deck. It has been a while since I've seen this. I mean, I suppose it's also technically possible. They're just like a bad budget deck or something. But, alright. Looking like a bad budget deck. They're doing elementals, which I guess isn't bad necessarily. Alright. A null. Probably not relevant here. We'll take the additional cantrip. So the good news is we get our Pheonix back next turn. Bad news is they are doing Risen Reef stuff. Risen Reef value is a lot of value. So if this game goes long, we're cooked. Alright, but we do find a Lightning Axe. So Risen Reef value is no longer going to be a thing. My third spell for the turn will be killing the Risen Reef at all costs. Alright, yeah. I mean, that's like they lose their Risen Reef and they get attacked for 6. That's devastating. We get Anger the Gods, Mystical Dispute. Please. Oh. Alright, they just concede the match. Okay. Well, that's an option, I guess. Ooh, we get a rare ICR. We get a playable-ish rare ICR. That's incredible. You love to see actual playable cards out of those, even if it's not like super great. At least it is like something that could be put in a deck at some point. Alright, opponent is Old MacDonald, apparently. This hand is definitely good on interaction. We don't have an Artist talent, which makes this type of hand much worse. Really makes all of our hands much worse, because Artist talent just means whatever hand we have just turns into whatever we need over a turn or two, but it's still, like, fine. Hello. So they're playing Triome. Well, I'm going to take Treasure Cruise, on the logic that whenever my opponents cast Thoughtseize against me, they always take the Treasure Cruise. So this is going to be Yorion Beans. Probably Yorion... probably Bring to Niv. Like 98% going to be Bring to Niv. Which is certainly not great for me. They're just adding Yorion to hand on turn 3. That's kind of wild, but okay. Alright, this is not... well, it's probably not Bring to Niv. Overlord of the Mistmoors, eh? Well, if I happen to stumble into an Annul, I would love to cast that. I do not. So that card is very good. I guess we opt first. Grab an Artist talent. Fantastic. Artist talent. So we can have Spell Pierce available. And then hopefully get our Phoenixes back next turn. Alright, they are just straight up running out Yorion. They're going to blink their Beans and their Overlord, get infinite value. And now this is a creature as well. I think we lose this. I think this game is already ended. They have blockers. They have blockers that trade with my things. I will get rid of like one of them. I guess I'll get rid of a spare Treasure Cruise. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the problem is, like, I have no outs to this active Overlord, pretty much. I guess... it's definitely not great, but... I can go Phoenixes on the defensive. Alright, defensive Phoenixes, Means the Overlord, if it attacks, it'll die. They're just cycling a Triome. That bodes well for me. Alright, so they attack with the Overlord. I will simply block it with my 2 creatures. And then get back my 2 creatures on my next turn. While also killing their stuff. Picklock Prankster is like an MVP in this situation. I think we get rid of Lightning Axe here. Their big scary things are 6 toughness, and their other things are all 1/1s, or 2/1s rather. Alright, hang on. What spells have I cast? I cannot remember how many spells I've cast. I do not know if it is safe to use the Picklock Prankster. Alright, so that's definitely 3 spells. So I get my 3 guys back. And I think I attack with one of them. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I do have to deal some damage at some point. Fatal Push is very good. I will Spell Pierce that Fatal Push. And they're going to fight over it? No. Surely not. Alright, they are going to Fatal Push again. Alright, well the good news is I'm going to 2, which is not 0. And boy do I have some creatures for you, opponent. So I need to cast 3 spells first. That's 1. There's another Pheonix in the bin. This is 2. Have I played a land this turn? I'm not sure. I'm going to decline that. Alright, Fiery Impulse, one of them is spell number 3. I could play a land and a Picklock Prankster and go to combat. Have 4 Phoenixes in play. And full on defense because they might have more removal spells. They cycle a Spara's Headquarters. Surely you cannot remove 3 creatures without it being a board wipe that gets rid of your insects. Cavern on Ogre. Rurik Thar. Alright. Well, that's freaking... That's a thing. It has reach. Oh boy. Well, this game has suddenly gotten quite awkward. The good news is that means they probably can't do much of anything either, and my Hall of the Storm Giants might just get them. So that blocks one thing. and they still take 9, 10, 11. Alright, it attacks each combat if able. No, hang on. I'm going to attempt to declare a double block. Alright, nowhere to run. It does hit them for a lot as well. Zur Eternal, so enchantment creatures, which are none of them. Alright, well, we fire up the Hall of Storm Giants, and we attack with the Hall of the Storm Giants. Have fun with that. -1 insect. But they can turn their enchantments into creatures with Zur, so they can just like attack me with a nowhere to run and an up the beanstalk. Yeah, I think my opponent has certainly janked me out this time. Oh, or they could just play another Overlord. But I'm pretty sure I'm dead on board. Maybe they don't see it. Nope, they see it. Alright. Well, a null, certainly. They have technically some blue, but I think they're just like 5-color green. Mystical Dispute seems pretty bad. Anger of the Gods seems great at getting rid of those swarms of tiny guys. Who plays Rurik Thar? Like, come on. Am I being unreasonable to say that that's just unfair for them to have? Floodmoss seems kind of mid against them. They have lots of like ETBs and stuff. I'll bring in the anti-graveyard hate stuff because you know they're going to bring in Rest in Pieces and the like. Their creatures are all either tokens or very large. Is 5 damage relevant anywhere here? Yes, to Yorion. I think I will cut 2 Fiery Impulses and 2 Sleight of Hands. I don't like losing game 1 against a deck that certainly has more graveyard hate to bring in. I mean, this is a hand of magic cards. I think we save the Consider for after the Artist Talent. Opponent has mulliganed once. I think we save the Consider for after the Artist Talent to get more value out of it. Double Treasure Cruise is kind of awkward. I need to start getting cards in graveyard for that. Alright, Rest in Peace. Somewhat expected. So now it is Consider Treasure Cruises away. I do have time to set up, probably. So cast another Artist Talent. So I need to turn these lands into useful spells with Artist Talent. I don't have much time. Like, I need to kill them fast, otherwise they're just going to go over the top of me again. Like, if they're casting Rurik Thar, I'm cooked. Again, turn 3, add Yorion to hand. Opponent's deck must really not be cooperating. Get rid of a tap land. Get rid of a tap land. Grab an opt. Play an untapped land. Alright, and now it is beatdown time. Next turn, we are going to be casting Arclight Pheonix and attacking. Skyclave Apparition. Of course, they have the immediate answer. Alright, Prophytic Memory is fantastic here. We're going to stop there. And fifth land is also good. They appear to be missing land drops. Or they just haven't played their land for turn yet. They just haven't played their land for turn yet. Okay. Let's make this 1/1 real big. Still have more lands than I know what to do with. Alright, I'm going to hold up Spell Pierce. And attack for 4. Third Path Iconoclast is cool. So I have Spell Pierce available if they try to tap 5 mana for a big splashy thing. Hopefully they don't cast like a big splashy creature though. Like Yorion. Hopefully they don't cast something like Yorion. Alright, so that gives me a 2/2. And gets rid of my Prophytic Memory, of course. Alright, so I can get rid of the Yorion. And probably the Spell Pierce. I actually need a second red source in all of this to cast my Pheonix. Alright, we've found our way back to a Spell Pierce, I guess. We're just going to attack for a bunch. If they trade, that would be cool. Please get Spell Pierced. Cycling Triomes. This opponent has never heard of mana efficiency in their life. Alright, well, Arclight Pheonix attack you for 9 while you're at 10. Alright. I'm going to Spell Pierce that. And opponent concedes. Understandable. Alright. Game 3, just have to do something like that again. And hopefully they just won't have Rest in Peace in their 80-card Yorion deck. It makes it more likely that they won't. I mean, this sure is a hand with cantrips. Alright, and there's an Arclight Pheonix. Alright, they're just going to up the Beanstalk. I am going to hold up Spell Pierce, and then Picklock Prankster. They're shocking. An Overlord of the Flood Pits. Alright, that's technically a creature spell. I'm going to just cast my cantrips in response to this. Artist Talent is good. I need a land drop. If I hit a land drop, I can Artist Talent into Sleight of Hand. Otherwise, I'm going to have to Sleight of Hand first to find a land drop. Yuck. Gross. Discard Pheonix to hand size. Got him. Alright, so I need to get pressure on before this Overlord happens. Cavern on Avatar. Thought sees me. That's fine. You can take my Iconoclast probably. That's what won me the game last time. Or you could take Treasure Cruise. Take Spell Pierce. Okay. Rest in peace. Yep, taking Spell Pierce before Rest in Peace makes sense. And I'm still missing land drops. I'm going to play out my Iconoclast and hope they have just 0 answers. Enigmatic Incarnation. That's horrifying. So they turn their Overlord into probably another Overlord. Overlord of the Boiler Bilges. Kills my thing. I miss land drop again. And yeah, I mean, we need to hit land drops to win games of Magic. Super annoying. Let's do one more. All right, let's do one more. How long could it take? Half an hour? Okay, one lander on the play. We mulligan those. This is fine. Spell Pierce is the most likely to be completely irrelevant, so I'll discard that. And Mountain Kamano, I instantly wish I had Spell Pierce instead of Lightning Axe. Okay. Cool, very cool. Alright, Slick Shot Show Off. It is going to be a 2-3. I'm going to opt. Take a land. And I sure do love not taking damage from my opposing creatures. So there's a Slick Shot Show Off down. And we pass. Kamano faces Kakazan. Flips. We're going to need to deal with this. It makes our Phoenixes kind of annoying. Okay, Bolt Wave. I guess I'll consider in response. Don't need second Treasure Cruise. That's going to be way too slow. That can resolve then. And Light Up the Stage hits Light Up the Stage. Very cool. Let's not take damage from our opponent's creatures. Let's main phase Consider to fill the yard. So now we can Treasure Cruise. Alright. That's all pretty good. I'm going to play a tap land to not make my opponent's life easier on them. Alright, I could Lightning Axe that. I could Flood Mod as well. I think Lightning Axe is probably the best option. I'm going to get rid of Sleight of Hand. Picklock Prankster gives me way more looks at interaction. Alright, they light up the stage. Hit some stuff. I'm going to main phase Picklock Prankster. I guess I'll grab a Consider and main phase Consider. I could keep an Artist Talent. For now, I'm just going to run out Picklock Prankster, though. Have a blocker, in case they try to do some nonsense. Alright, they play Soulscar Mage. That's probably... Yeah, no, that's definitely fine with the Fiery Impulse. I just need to time it right so as to not get got by burn spells in response. And also I would kind of like to shoot the Den of the Bugbear more. Opponent sure does have a lot of creatures in their burn deck. Alright, the critics are being skewered. I think I Fiery Impulse the Soulscar Mage. I think I'm going to hold on to this Floodmaw. I should have done this the other way around. I should have impulsed the Swift Spear so that I had the option of Floodmawing the Soulscar Mage and meaningfully slowing them down. Now they have a mana up. Alright. Let's level that up, I guess. And hold on to this Steam Vents to discard it with Floodmaw. Raminop Ruins. I assume they just fire up Den here. No, they activate Raminop instead. That doesn't make sense. Oh, I guess light up the stage sort of makes sense. Alright, so now Floodmaw can set the Swift Spear back a turn. Off you go. Give me something good. A Pheonix is pretty good. Let's play a blocker. And a second Artist Talent. Pheonix is on 100% block duty. Alright, Den of the Bugbear fires up. Trades with a Pheonix, probably. Yep. Alright, I am at 4. I draw another land, and I die. Yep, just 6 lands is like 3 too many against that deck. They have a lot of creatures. They are very creature heavy for what they are. Third Path Iconoclast is kind of good as a blocker. A Null is super niche. It hits literally exactly Kumano. It's definitely not worth it. It's a good cut. Is it crazy to trim Phoenixes? Not really. Phoenixes and Treasure Cruises are both just very slow. Alright. Like, if I'm able to stabilize, 1 or 2 Phoenixes will be enough. I don't need to hit them with a bunch of Phoenixes to win. Play it like this. Been very quiet today. Like, normally there are at least, like, spammers in chat, but there's only been 1 spammer in chat today. That's kind of strange. They must all be messing with other streamers. Alright, this is fine. We have a removal spell. We have a Third Path Iconoclast. Right there's Kumano. Yep. Alright. I have a 2-1. Please just play like a Slick Shot show off. Alright, no blocks. No, they had a removal spell. Alright. I think I lose this game then. Oh, right, that didn't have haste. I forgot that doesn't just automatically have haste. But I can't actually kill a 2-3 at the moment. And I also don't have a third land drop. Yeah, so I think this game is over. I've missed my third land drop. I literally can't kill a 2-3 somehow. Oh my god. Alright. Well, I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to kill this Slickshot Show-Off. If I draw an untapped red source, Anger might bail me out next turn. Emphasis on might. Another Slickshot Show-Off. Alright, untapped red land, please. No, absolutely not. That still does a lot, and I don't draw the untapped red land, so I go to 5. Yeah, I mean, I go to 1, and they have the Ramanap Ruins in play. I'm not winning that game ever. All right. Well, look at that. We ended right on time. Yeah, so yeah, make sure to follow. I'll be here tomorrow playing Satisfactory, and I'll be back to Magic on Tuesday.